You haven't rolled any joints today?
No, is that what we're talking about? Oh.
Ready, set, here we go.
Different kind of rolling.
Different kind of rolling.
Welcome to the Chronic
We
Podcast
are
Show.
always rolling. Hello,
Rolling.
hello.
What are we rolling today?
Joints?
Joints? No, we have the
only rolling that we, know of.
Puffco Peak dab rig in hand. No rolling.
Advanced.
Advanced. Too advanced for
We are old-fashioned. We are still rolling.
rolling. Welcome, everybody.
So happy to be here.
Yes, very happy to be here.
Another episode, and really good one. Jake, do you have any news to start with?
Well, I wanted to start off with saying you can't spell healthcare without THC.
As a nurse, I concur.
So we need THC in our healthcare system. No, there's like little bits of news here. Jessie, didn't you hear some crazy
I
news or
read
like that?
something 2 days ago that supposedly Trump is looking to deschedule marijuana again.
They've been looking at doing that for a while.
Fuck.
He's been saying that for a year, but supposedly a couple days ago he said he would, within the next 2 weeks, make a decision. But I feel like we heard a time limit a year ago as well.
Be
And then we heard
patient,
that.
guys. Be patient. It was like, I feel like 3-4 episodes ago, we were talking about a law change and cannabis, and I said, give him a time. And I feel like, based on it,
How
I
much
know
time do they need?
that's exactly
much
what
time?
you guys said last time too. But hey, be patient.
I've been patient long enough because here's what
He's gonna do something.
you better.
I like that you're so confident.
I do too. It says Congress approves legislation restricting sales of hemp-derived intoxicants, and there have been several states recently that have kind of shut all of the hemp stuff
ban.
down. Yeah,
Well, and then with the vote to reopen the government, they stuck it in there to
for the whole federal government.
to reopen
So-
the federal government. They've made it.
See, that's
illegal
the
federally
challenge
again.
Trump personally is facing. He has to, that's his base that they're slipping right there. So he has, behind the scene, there's so much challenge. He, as a leader, need to consider.
But the
that
challenge
it's
is
just easy for us to just say, just change.
Well, it is, but the challenge is people getting their pockets lined. Like I was actually having a discussion
right.
with someone yesterday about it being slipped into the bill to reopen the government. And I said that it was Mitch McConnell that put it in. And the woman that I was speaking with was like, that's really surprising. He's from Kentucky and it's a farm state and they should really understand. And I said, well, you know why it's not surprising? Because he got $883,000 from alcohol companies.
Yeah.
So that's what people don't understand, that we're really not fighting anything except for people's greed.
Yeah, it's greed and money. That's what it is. It's all about it. Who can get a hold of what part of the supply line chain or what part of the industry to be able to put money in their own pocket. It's always been that way.
It has, but then it goes back to, I think, what we're discussing today, religion.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to be the powers that be in religion want it to stay illegal.
I'm going to tell you guys this. You guys and everybody who is listening or seeing, I have done so much research, and this subject, it's so deep that it's like you can go on and on and on. I slept with it last night doing the research, and he knows when he came home, I was sleeping and it was going on in TV. And this morning I woke up getting ready, and I am listening and doing research while getting ready for here too. And still I feel like what is the word? I haven't tapped the surface yet. It's
Scratched the
scratched the surface yet.
Yeah.
You haven't
It's
tapped
just
into it.
so
scratched the
much.
surface.
It's just so much into it.
Well, since we have kind of a little portion of strain of the day thing happening, and you need to tap into it, maybe
Go for
it's
it.
time to do a little.
I smell marijuana.
Well, maybe.
Not yet.
Not
You don't-
yet.
you
I
don't
don't
want to.
smell it yet.
Well, do you want to hit the dab rig and then enlighten ourselves a little bit when it comes to the cannabis world and talk about God and how God enlightens us? I don't know.
We
maybe.
can. Speaking of that, the very fascinating things that,
I'm going to light it up while you guys are talking.
based on my research, all the religious, most of all the religious leaders, they've been telling for centuries, for so long, that cannabis is evil, it's not good, it's bad, especially for young people, young adults and stuff, gateway to drug, all of the things that we have heard. But in fact, again, the more I dive into this and just dig in there, in fact, it's because of they've been manipulating, because of the cannabis actually opens your receptors and it creates deeper level of connection between you as a human and your creator. And it's just insane that how they've been lying to us.
Now, you're not just speaking about Christianity. You're speaking about
like
all
in general.
religions.
Yeah.
Religions in general.
Yeah, leaders, religious leaders.
Well, that's what I've always been of the belief that Jesus actually became enlightened during his travels, during the time in the Bible where we don't hear about him. And I'm speaking to Christianity because I was raised Christian, so I know it the best. I've done research on these other religions, and it was hard because it wasn't ingrained in me as, from a childhood like Christianity was. But I've always thought that Jesus became enlightened. And as we discussed last week, I think it's part of the holy anointing oil recipe.
Absolutely.
A lot of scholars,
Totally is.
a lot of scholars think that, and I think that's why Jesus was killed, because he became enlightened and knew too much. And if you
Do you think Jesus was killed because he knew about weed?
I mean,
Or he was enlightened by weed?
that's a very simple. That's simplifying it down.
I'm just
dumbing
asking.
it down a lot, but
I'm dumb.
to an extent, yes. Like I think marijuana helped him become enlightened, and so it wasn't necessarily the marijuana; it was the fact that he was so enlightened. And I feel that is the reason, because priests, they need to be needed, and if you can become enlightened on your own,
There's no
need the
need for it.
right? And if you're going to teach other people how to become enlightened on their own, then priest jobs go out the window. And from the research I've been doing on the other religions, it feels very similar to Christianity in that, like Islam in the Quran, it doesn't specifically mention no cannabis, but it's a known that cannabis isn't good because it could potentially affect your being able to communicate with God. But I think it's actually the opposite.
It deepens your connection and it actually opens that door of communication. Without we even communicate, we still feel it, and they don't want that. They want to be the middleman between us and the divine.
Right.
That's so true.
Right.
That the spiritual leaders, the pastors, teachers, whoever they are, they want to be the intermediary between us and the divine. That's an interesting concept.
But this is just, again, such an individual, personal things.
It totally is.
So cannabis is actually the way that you can, without priest, without mullah, without whatever religion that you are thinking, without any religion, in fact, you just connect yourself with that divine and experience.
Right.
There's no need for all of that.
Right.
There is teaching, though, a little bit of teaching of how to use the cannabis and how it affects and the amount and the balance of it. I think there are some.
That is definitely important, and that calls, like in Buddhism, they say, it's kind of back and forth. Some Buddhists are okay with it, some aren't. Some say it helps you in meditation and reaching spiritual enlightenment. Some say no because it causes heedlessness. Well, I had to look heedlessness. So I looked that up for you to define it. And heedlessness is the state of being careless, thoughtless, or lacking in attention. Well, some people, when they use marijuana, to your point, Jake, they become careless and thoughtless and lack attention. Some people, when they use marijuana, it does the exact opposite. So for that to be their argument why you shouldn't use it, when it does the exact opposite for a lot of people, and for religions across the board, that seemed to be their main concern. Don't use it because it might cause carelessness, not really knowing how to communicate.
I put that on personal choice.
Is that
and intention.
It awakens. You feel more things than without it you are not. So it's just arguable to me. That
it's absolutely arguable. I think it's been for years just talked and told that it's bad? Like you didn't grow up Christian. How did you
No,
grow
I
up?
grew up Muslim.
Okay. And so what were the thoughts? Like, was it ever talked about growing up? Like,
No education about it whatsoever. It's always been.
it was just bad.
Evil. At the point you don't even talk about it. It's that bad.
So when I was doing, let me ask you this, because you did grow up Muslim. When I was doing some research, I saw that, marijuana use is not okay unless it is prescribed by a doctor for medicinal purposes.
Why does a doctor have the right to prescribe it? This question.
Right. But I think it's...
Doctors don't prescribe water, do they?
But I think it's society's understanding of, okay, well, we've been told this is bad. It's only okay if a doctor prescribes it, So in your growing up, was that okay? Or even then it was not okay?
No.
No, cannabis is not okay no matter what in her.
Unless they are talking about like component of it inside the medicine that doctor prescribing. But no such a thing as a doctor is going to prescribe you cannabis, hemp, nothing. Cannabinoid, period.
No. So the research I did was incorrect.
It's big time crime, but everybody uses at the same time.
Really?
It's just like how it used to be here, and it is kind of, everybody's getting it from black market, from friend, from whoever, it's just.
Still, even though that.
It's the same in there. People are using, but it's illegal and it's big time crime if they get caught.
Okay, so not even for medicinal purposes, like the internet told me.
No, but I honestly, Jessie, I know for a fact, like 1,000 years ago, when we didn't have all this modern medicine, I don't know if you guys know, we have like big name doctors from back then, Bu Ali. Their name was Bu Ali. Like Ali is the name, Bu Ali, like son of the Ali. So anyway, these are really, really big time, like medicinal, like brains that they used, I believe, and if I dig in there, I can prove it too. They used only herbal thing. They didn't use all herbs, and I can guarantee that cannabis was one of them for healing. And their healing, their way of practicing medicine, it's still like one of the kind. With all the modern medicine.
In the Muslim
I'm sure
culture,
there's some shamanistic,
they do use the herbalism. So it is in some aspects okay.
Even now when you go to like Iran, you go to bazaar, you're going to see bunch of back to back herbal stores that they sell these things. And people go and buy for medicinal
But do they have cannabis in them?
No.
No, cannabis is not in there. But
You can't, yeah.
Right. And again, I feel like that goes to society telling us it's wrong because
Right.
all of these herbs have been used for years and years and years to cure. And they have all of these medicinal purposes. They do. It's just a fact.
Totally.
And cannabis does too. So the only reason it's not continued to be used in Iran and those markets you say, or anywhere in the world, is because society keeps telling us how bad it is.
Religious leaders, that's what I believe. They're
You
manipulating us.
You think honestly it starts with the religious leadership in
But
our-
you think it is if it's not that?
I don't know.
I mean,
that's a great
plant.
question.
It's a plant just like any other plant, like any other herbs that God put in this.
Right.
True.
And every religion that I researched, I also researched some Buddhism, Hinduism, and Sikhism, and none of them in their holy books specifically address cannabis. Number
Right.
one, to
It's
say
cannabis.
no, including the Bible, including Christianity. None of the holy books can specifically address cannabis, saying it's bad.
No.
However, most religions take the stance that cannabis is bad, and again, most of them go back to because it causes interactions with you communicating with God, or it causes heedlessness, or it causes all that, but they don't really do that. In my experience, maybe for some people it does, but in my experience, I meditate better. I have deeper conversations, more meaningful conversations with God. I'm able to, just hear from spirit better when I use cannabis. So in my research, what they say in all religions is the exact opposite of what I've learned in my personal
Absolutely,
research.
it is. Yeah, me too.
So that's why I would agree with that. it is the religious leaders potentially. I don't think
It may have
today if you
started
I think it started there. I don't think today that it's like, oh, we have to make sure we tell them not to do this because we don't want them to be so enlightened. I think it started there, but the fear and the
well, the fear of being
propaganda.
challenged, because when you have cannabis in your system, and I think this is what cannabis does, it opens up your life. It gives you the ability to kind of question. And when you start questioning some of the leadership and going, you sure? That makes me feel better. Why can't I have that? That questioning of your own experience and the leadership that may be trying to control you is mightily where it started. Who knows? Possible. But I don't know, the religious leaders of today, if somebody were to ask them about, God and religion and how cannabis affects them, most of the religious leaders I'm noticing are not having a problem with it.
But
Really?
It's the government that's having a problem. Yeah.
Oh,
It's the
see,
money
I've
side.
had conversations with. I told y'all last time that I spoke with a pastor, and he was like, "You can't smoke marijuana because I take one hit and I get high, so
Yep.
therefore you can't." And I was like, "Well, that's the opposite for me."
Right.
So I think there's still religious leaders that are very,
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
especially here in the South.
well, I did research
It's
on
funny,
that.
all the ones here in the South, though, they all, sorry, babe. They,
You-
they all drink quite a bit and smoke
oh,
cigarettes quite a bit.
absolutely.
And I'm sure they smoke weed.
Well,
quite a
not
bit, too,
all, but yeah.
because I've been into some of those circles and I know what they do. So maybe in the South, I would say that they're doing a little bit more marijuana than they like to admit. If they were confessing, they would be confessing that they do marijuana. So I apologize. Would you continue, please, sweetheart? Or did I totally screw you up?
No, she was talking about the cannabis not being in any religious books,
Ceremonies?
text.
Oh, text.
But you did write this morning. It brought that point. You did write that cannabis actually word is in Torah
Well, in the Torah.
or in Bible.
In both. In the Torah and the Bible.
The word cannabis.
Cannabism.
Cannabis.
Well, yeah, that's what we talked about last week,
it's
and that's
different
one of the.
Right.
And they think that it was mistranslated to sweet calamus as opposed to cannabis.
Cannabis.
But it is actually the word by word meaning is aromatic.
Aromatic.
Resinous.
Yeah.
It's aromatic
Reed.
resinous
Yeah.
reed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which some people, the people that didn't translate it to cannabis, argue, well, a marijuana plant doesn't look like a reed. Well, not when it's flowering, but the stalk of
I don't know. The stalk of it looks
Yeah,
like a
that's
reed. That's a
stalk
fake
of it
one right there.
here.
Yeah, like look.
But
if you're looking from the bottom up. Now, if you're looking at this part of it, that's different. But so that's where the
Yeah.
difference of opinions comes in.
Yeah.
Right.
Not all the religious, again, based on my research, I found at least 5 different religions that they are actually for cannabis.
Oh, who? Tell me.
One of them was
Taoism.
Daoism.
Taoism.
Daoism. I can't pronounce it. Daoism.
Right.
That basically their philosophy is based on a connection and harmony, and they are believer of the cannabis is like part of their ceremony. I think. So it comes back of the root of this comes from ancient China.
The root of
That's
Taoism.
root of
does?
Taoism.
Okay.
The root of Daoism comes from China.
Yeah.
Well, China, no, they're all into ancient medicines and stuff like that.
I know that's exactly what happened to
It's
me when I
holistic-
found. I was like, that
holistic
explains because it's Chinese are known for ancient medicine and
herbs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What were the others that were
Let me
okay with
see.
it?
Taoism they used to burn, or they are still. They
Like
burn
incense?
like instance. Yeah.
Like Christianity?
yeah.
They
So
used
they'd
to
use a
burn
whole
it
bunch
on
of-
the altar?
Yeah.
Because we have proof of that Christianity did burn it on the altar?
Yeah, and then they use their leaders, shamans.
The shaman.
They mix it with ginseng,
Mm-hmm.
and by
Cannabis
mixing,
and ginseng.
yeah, and they believe that mixing that
Gives you
it's
energy.
like the spirit of evil and good. Just
It blocked the spirit of evil, mixing cannabis and
Ginseng.
ginseng.
Now, what are they
It's
burning
ginseng.
as incense, or what are they
Yes,
doing? Okay.
burning as a
So it
Then-
blocks evil, but
evil
brings
and brings
good.
the good spirits.
Good likes to smoke weed. and have
That was
ginseng.
very interesting.
And
for
evil
me.
doesn't like the scent of it.
Yeah.
And evil doesn't like the scent of it.
Well, I
Very
know
interesting.
Hinduism, it is accepted sometimes because they feel it helps with meditation, especially during big festivals like Diwali. So that's another one that it's a little bit more accepted.
So Hinduism that was another one that they are for it actually.
Yeah.
I wonder how much better a Catholic service would be if instead of like whatever they're doing.
I'm telling you, I
just
think
piled
it
full
used
of
to
freaking
have. I
marijuana.
think it used to have THC in those things walking
be
by.
like, here, smell this. Hey. Now we're going to talk about God.
Well, I'm going to say this. I don't know if you've ever been in a Catholic service like that. I know you said you were raised that way.
No,
But it's overwhelming. Like the incense,
Yeah.
like it's like when they walk down with it, it's like it's too much.
You
It's-
smell like it for a
it's-
while.
But
if you-
it's too overstimulating to your senses almost. If it was marijuana, I'd be like, okay, give me some more of that.
Can you leave that thing right here for a minute?
Yeah, otherwise, I'm usually like holding my breath as they like, come on, that's
come
too
on,
much.
that's too much. I wonder if everybody would feel like that.
I'm
If
sure.
it's
If,
cannabis, give me once again.
Whether they realize they feel like that or not, or they like want
They
more,
want it.
they will feel like that and not know why.
right.
You know, and that would
I
that's
wonder,
had
I
to-
wonder
church
if our
service.
cat feels like that, Jake.
Not anymore. I think she's over smoked.
She's used to anymore.
She's a low dose cat now.
No dose. She does microdosing.
It was funny. There was a while. There was a sidetrack. There was quite a while that she would come to the garage and hang out. And when we were all out there smoking, doing whatever the kind of thing, the cat would just sit there and hang out, and you could blow it right at her, and she would just be like.
My dog, if we're going that route, my dog passed away a few months ago, and she was almost 14, so she was older. And at the end, she was in a lot of pain, and she would come up and sit next to me when I would smoke at night and just sit at me and look and be like, okay, it's my turn.
Please, puff, pass.
Need you, please?
Yeah.
I want to feel better.
You know, it helps them on their pain and everything.
Yeah.
That's why we have pet products here.
Yeah.
Products.
If you have animals that they are in pain, anxiety, any sort of discomfort, it
Public
helps.
service announcement.
It does help.
CBD is really good for
Yeah, they
for
really
sure.
do just like we do.
Yeah.
They have the endocannabinoid system in their body.
They do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dogs do?
Yes.
Mammals do.
Mammals do.
Yeah.
So come and get your products.
So let's.
What are the other ones? You said Daoism, Hinduism. What were the other ones?
Before we get off the Hinduism, I have a note on Hinduism that it relates to ancient Hindu belief that gods send hemp to the human so they can attain happiness and eliminate fear.
Interesting.
That's Hinduism, that they believe that.
I like that.
And they,
Yeah, I like that.
one of the most known god of Shiva, they say.
Shiva's
I
one who brought-
know you don't like it, but that's what they believe.
Well, and they also think that
most
Shiva,
associate with cannabis.
right? And they think that Shiva used it to help not be so
Destructive.
destructive. Like it
Yes,
helps in
because it
in
was God of
It was like a
destruction.
balance,
Shiva smoked
Right,
weed.
right.
Not be so
Harmony and balance.
right? So if Shiva didn't smoke weed, there might have been a lot more
I
destruction.
know, imagine.
Maybe that's what's going on right now. There's a whole lot of Shiva
I hate
destroying
Shiva
crap
smoke,
out there.
which
and
They
aren't
smoked with
smoking
his
weed.
wife.
Yes. He smoked with his
Yeah,
wife.
smoked with his wife.
Actually, it wasn't smoking. He apparently
It was a
Inhaled,
drink.
yeah.
drink.
It was a drink.
Yes,
it was
that's right.
It's a drink. Go ahead and slam it.
and it's called, and so in
Now that you pushing me, cheers.
in Hinduism and Sikhism, actually, it's a drink, and I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Bhang. I don't know if it's bang or bong or
Bong.
bong. That's how you pronounce it.
The name Bong is coming from there.
You think so?
I think
Possible.
A water bong.
Yeah.
So that it's a drink made out of the leaves, and in Sikhism, in the religion of Sikh, they are allowed to. Well, it's again back and forth. Some say yes, some say no. But the one rule is you cannot smoke it. It can only be in the drink form. In the
Maybe
bong.
that's why. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I know that Hinduism, it's the drink as well, which is how Shiva consumed it. So,
Very interesting history and theoretical stuff on cannabis and who used it for what.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody believes in separate thing. At the end, your experience is your experience, guys. My experience is just, it connects me in such a deeper level when it comes to spirituality. Again, we were talking about runner's high. I never had, like, in any normal thing, in anything, like, never have that kind of experience except when I'm high on cannabis. And that's just such a deep level of connection that it's just, I wish upon everybody, to experience that. It's such a great experience.
Cannabis is that, like you said, great equalizer, but it's also that kind of thing that is so personal, kind of like your relationship with
God.
Yeah, a deity, anything outside of that. It's definitely in that same route where you have to have your own experience, and how much or how little or how often, that is totally up to you as that experiencer. But I think we're all just trying to find balance and find that place of being good.
But Jake, let me ask you this. Like, we are talking about spirituality and stuff.
Religion.
Like, I know how it affects me, like, yes, religion, but like spirituality.
Sure.
How it does work on you when it comes to, like, I know you consume a lot of cannabis.
Oh,
You do?
it's not a secret.
I know it. So how does it affect you when it comes to...
Like, do you use it for any spiritual practices of any?
Oh, I mean, I'm going to use a term that I've been hearing a lot lately: self-medicating. So we all self-medicate, and we medicate because we want to find some sort of balance or peace in our life, whether that be pain or sleep or this or whatever that is, or even finding some sort of spiritual calm and relax. Now, whether it's a body thing or internal spiritual thing, we do use cannabis and other products to kind of get that place of being, I guess, balanced. I do every day. It's a very religious, if you want to call it. I hate the word religion. It's a relationship.
Religious preachers, the purpose is to make you actually a good person at the end. That's the purpose of it.
Possibly, and maybe I don't know.
I feel like they want you to be obedient at the end is what religious leaders want.
There's a lot of that.
To become a good person, obedient, like do what I say. So
Right.
They don't say like go steal, go,
Well, those principles of being a good person are very simple, and they were lined out in several different religious books,
right,
or written on stone. The 10 Commandments. There's only 10 things. These are very simple. Or the idea of what people would describe God as, with a love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, meekness, self-control. Those kind of things. When you have that stuff, then you're in line with that being good. But I think Jessie was right. It's more about control and obedience in a religious factor, because when you go to a church, you're subscribing to the doctrine of that church based on somebody's belief in ancient books. But the reality is that we should be teaching and leading people to spiritual balance and spiritual goodness, and that is by teaching them the simple basic things that Almighty God has already taught us. Love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, meekness, self-control. Cannabis helps us get there, helps us be balanced and relax and calm and peace. And that leads us to love and joy and all of these other things. Now, all of that is relative in maybe my own personal experience with all of it, but teaching that to everybody else so that they can find that self-medicate to get to that spot of being there too. Because I think that's what everyone is searching for. It's by what teacher or what pastor, what whoever, and how driven in that direction you want to be by their command, I guess. Me personally, I want to go straight to the source.
But my point was...
Yes. I'm sorry I got off my point. I got high.
My point was these preachers, religious preachers, they are trying, the whole thing is to make you a good person.
You'd think.
Now,
yes.
Mix this with cannabis. I am just trying to understand the argue on this. How, when we are mixing it with cannabis in religious stuff, spirituality, how that is a negative thing.
It's not.
Like based on you guys' because it's not for me, as I said, but I want to hear based on you guys' experience, if there is any at all, like negatively affecting your spirituality, how it's, because I don't find it in myself at all.
No. I think it's back to the control. It puts them out of a job essentially, because if they aren't your go-between for you and God, then
So guys, how doesn't make sense for like people, like for example, Christian people, some of them that they are so against it.
because a lot of well, first of all, you believe what you're told your whole life.
Right.
And in our
That's the
society, we're
problem.
told our whole life that marijuana is bad. It's a gateway drug. It causes you to be unmotivated and it causes
So
you
many
to be
things,
lazy and not. So I think we're fighting two different fights for the same thing. Like we're fighting society's just
Right.
misinformation.
Misinformation.
complete
Yeah.
misinformation
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And then you have the religious arena that at the same time wants
Perpetuating
control,
that
and then
idea.
that helps them stay in control. And again, at this point, I don't think anybody is aware of it and doing it to say, ha ha ha, let's make sure these people can't reach enlightenment. I think it's just hundreds of years, thousands of years of that at this point, that's just the way it's done.
The
Quite
stigma.
possibly, yeah.
Stigma.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were listening to something this morning as we were getting ready. It was a YouTube deal. I had 4 or 5 people on it, and they were 2 like Catholic priests and 2 rabbis and another.
They were all religious.
All religious.
Leaders.
But
that
different
they were-
types-
Yeah,
different
they were
religions.
talking about cannabis.
And they were talking about, cannabis and religion, kind of the same thing that our subject matter. However, they were taking
I want some rabbis here and some priests and some. I want some different religious leaders.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I had one question in that when they were talking about it, because they were discussing their view, their points, like their congregation, some people who were into cannabis, not into cannabis. There was a lot of different conversation back and forth on it. It was a Zoom call thing. It was very interesting. However, when I sat and listened to them and their perspective and their point of view, the one thing that bothered me about it is I feel like most of those people don't use cannabis. And so to have a perspective on cannabis or have a perspective on any sort of thing that you ingest into your body, you should ingest it in your body and see what the responses are so that you understand what it does to you before you start making decisions for other people or how it may or may not affect them. The teaching that religious leaders need to do is understand what cannabis is, especially cannabis. Maybe not alcohol or drugs or, I need to go do fentanyl to figure out what it does to me.
You might die.
None of that. But cannabis in particular, because it's such a different product all in and of itself. It has a system in our body. There's some other scientific realities to it, the way it works and functions, the balance that has 0 deaths associated with it in the whole of our recorded human history. These pastors need to go have experience with it, whether by smoking it and edibles of it or all of the nature of cannabis, to truly be able to teach it or to pastor it or to lead it. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they don't is because most of these people don't have the desire to be in that world or
they're so scared. I feel like
scared.
It. Again, just like Jessie was saying, the misinformation, and you
Right.
mentioned too, it's so strong in the background.
True.
That some people, they're just so scared even to open that door.
But I'll say
But
this.
the door is just such an interesting, it's like opening that door. I have a message for everyone who feels like that. It's such a magical, pleasant, beautiful world that when you open that door.
Opening it
It's just-
rightly, though.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with you right now. I don't necessarily think that, like, let's take these religious leaders that were having this call this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have to use cannabis to be able to educate themselves to understand that it could be used to help other people create spiritual enlightenment. I think if they don't want to use, that's fine. They might be able to reach spiritual enlightenment just through meditation or prayer or whatever. So I'm not saying you have to use it to understand that it benefits other people. I'm asking you to quiet the hundreds of years of propaganda and listen to my stories of how it's helped me reach enlightenment better, and trust and acknowledge that what my experience is a true spiritual experience as well, not just yours because you have the rabbi title or the priest title or whatever title behind your name. So I just would ask that they would be more open to it. I don't think they necessarily have to use it.
Most majority of them are not. But the one that we were listening actually today, it was really interesting because all that religious leaders were for cannabis. Actually,
they weren't.
Yes.
They weren't.
They were talking about how
they understood that it had benefits.
Right.
Yeah. Even the one that they were not using it, they were saying it has to be choice because it has this goodness in it.
Because there's also badness to it too. I mean, it can be overconsumed. It can be used, and you can become lazy and gluttonous, and it can cause you to have all of these quote unquote sins. But again, it's an intention.
But what I was saying by that is like this: I'm not a football player. I'm not a quarterback. I can sit at home on a Sunday and watch TV and yell at the thing and pretend like I'm the coach. But if I put on the earphones and the mouthpiece and grab the thing, there's no damn way that I can coach a team to a Super Bowl. I don't do, even though I have that little tiny bit of experience in that world, I don't have the level of experience to make it happen. Mm-hmm. Okay? Just like a coach who's never thrown a football, probably not a good quarterback coach. My experience of cannabis is helping other people learn how to have their own experience. And I think it's highly important for those who want to either regulate it or teach it or have that level of whatever authority in it.
To have the experience.
Should have some experience in it first. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have experience in it, and I just say I'm the best coach, and I've sat in my living room for the past 10 years on Sunday morning and yelled at the screen, and I could have won every game. And I go put the headphones on, I have zero experience, they're not going to let me do that. Mm-hmm. So why are we letting people control the world of this who have zero experience in it? They may have read a book, they may have sat in a classroom, but if they haven't put it in their body and understand what it does to whoever it does it to, then they shouldn't have any say in any sort of responsible level of leadership.
Not only that, they probably haven't actually done that much research on it either. Like, even if you don't put it in your body, do a little research on it, not just the reefer madness propaganda bullshit. Yeah.
Why I take such heavy, adverse, it's so problematic for me, is because my experience is my experience. And if that individual who's trying to control my experience doesn't know what my experience is, then they have no right to control my experience. I'm an individual. Just like if I go into a church and I have an experience with Almighty and I speak in tongues or I do this thing or I have whatever thing or I have some aberration, blah, 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 whatever goes on, and some pastor is telling me that my experience is invalid, I'm probably no longer going to go to his church.
Listen, I've had experiences like that at churches where people have told me my experience didn't really happen, and you can't tell people their experience.
But did you know there is a church, specifically cannabis church?
I'm sure there is.
There's actually a couple.
I'm sure there is.
We need to do
some research.
Yeah, talk about that too.
I mean, there might be some validity to that. However, I mean, these kind of things are your experiences. And I think for somebody to be in the leadership of it, they should have some sort of experience before they lead you in any of this. And I think a lot of our society right now is being led and directed by people who have zero experience. They may have some knowledge, they may have read a book, but they don't have any experience. And so that's where my frustration comes in when it comes to these kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think back and forth across all religions, it's at the end of the day, they put it down because it's going to allow you to reach your own enlightenment by yourself without.
Yeah, it sucks though. Imagine if they do still what they do, but at the beginning of the ceremony, the church service, when everybody is coming in, just have a hit of weed, and then they start the ceremony. Imagine how different that would be.
I tried to start the ceremony
as
with a hit
for
of weed.
connection. No, I'm not joking.
I know,
As
I'm not
for
joking either.
connection of group all together, I would love to be in that.
Well, and maybe that's what was happening thousands of 2,000
ago.
years ago when
Possible.
when they were burning the cannabis on the altars along with the frankincense. You know, maybe they were burning it as people came. Maybe you went up and
That
you
was their,
sniffed for your
worship,
offering.
yeah.
Who knows how it was done?
Yeah, none of us were here when that was going
Yeah.
down.
But my feeling, and again, the more we research, back then, thousands of years ago, it was totally common to, using cannabis in different ceremonial thing, in a connection, in a harmony, and so many different levels they used it.
Oh, yeah.
Then whatever happened, the politics came, and the money came, and the greed came, and then it was
Misinformation
forbidden plant. But now, again, it feels like to me that it's coming from the behind the curtain. It's coming out and saying, "Hello, I'm still here. Hello, people," and people are more open to like, look, we are talking about it. 10 years ago, we never did this.
People are more open, but some of us have lost jobs as a result of this. So it's not it's not as free as it should be.
No, it's not as free as it should be. It should be a whole lot more acceptable and available and done right.
Right. And to lose jobs because you talk about it and discuss it.
That's not okay.
Well,
yeah.
people lose jobs for talking about their religion too. People lose
That's
their
true.
job for talking about
That's true.
their faith and whatever they did. I mean, how many people lost their
Wrong.
jobs for deciding that they didn't want to
Vaccine.
put stuff
That's true.
put stuff in their body.
That's
I mean,
true.
the control level of things.
There's always going to be
yeah,
control.
Exactly. To what level and how much? I don't know. I guess you're right. We're at a spot right now where we're sitting here having
Right, in front of camera.
legal cannabis product.
Legal camera.
It's a legal camera.
Legal camera, legal cannabis.
Legal cannabis.
Yeah,
THCA.
legal cannabis product here
Because
in
it has
Tennessee.
shorter growing cycle.
Exactly. It's nonsense that I'm basically doing what I can do in Amsterdam or what I did in Colorado or Vegas or wherever else. The stupid part is the mentality of our leadership and how they feel about all of this. I'd like to change that. I think we are one podcast day at a time, right?
I'm just thinking to see, do I give a fuck about it? How they think about it or feel about it.
Well, I mean, it just depends on how much they give about wanting to change the narrative or dynamic or what they want to do. But
That's right. At the end, we have our own logic and brain and common sense as a being, and we need to just use it.
I get it, though.
And our experience is our experience. We can't just listen to them and let them dictate what
True.
we should think.
They will always do that, though.
They'll
They've
always
been
try to
doing
do
since
that.
the
That's
beginning
why
of
we
time.
shouldn't let that happen. That's why we are
Well,
who we are. I mean,
there's one thing about
they're not superior.
No, they're not. But there's one thing about that, and this is why the control keeps on coming back around, and why the problems, and why the leadership, and why the pastors, why the stuff is because bad creeps in. Now, if we just had clean, good marijuana or cannabis or whatever product that didn't have any of the junk, the fentanyl, the stuff that whoever is trying to put in it, or the things that are created to say that they are THC or this or that, that stuff, that particular world that we live in that allows that in, kills things like even food markets. We have bad stuff going in our food. We have bad stuff going in our water.
Don't even
bad
get me
stuff going.
started on that.
Oh, I know, but these particulars is why we have some government there to protect. Why we have some leadership there to.
But the funny thing is that's who's putting a lot of the bad shit in our.
That's why we here do ourselves a favor by self-regulating, by finding the right product, by talking about it, by educating, by sharing, by
Education.
being that, I guess, leadership in the right way to do it, not
Right.
the wrong way to do it.
Right.
And that's honestly, I think
Right.
purpose for why we're here.
And I
For me, at
invite everybody to give themselves chance when it comes to connection with spirituality, and give themselves chance to experience it with cannabis.
Sure.
You know, just
Find good,
I mean,
clean source cannabis.
we have one life, guys. Just experience it. What is it to lose?
Yeah.
See how you feel when it comes to connection to your Almighty too.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know, on that note, I think we're gonna head out.
Go do some meditating of our own.
We're gonna
Some praying of our own.
we're gonna participate on camera as we wrap
As we wrap it
the
up.
show. We're gonna smoke weed on camera, and this is legal weed from a Puffco Peak. Our strain of the day, Flowers of Zion.
Oh, and can you get it here at Cron?
You can come grab dabs of it here.
Let's try it out.
All right, pass it down.
Is it ready?
Ladies first. When it buzzes.
Oh, is it ready?
Many buzzes.
It's not buzzing.
It's not buzzing yet. It takes a little while to warm up. There you go.
Buzzing. It's buzzing like the aliens.
Like the aliens, yeah.
Thank you, folks.